This is the Batcave.
I've never really shown anyone this spot.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for welcoming me in. It's good to see you.
Dude, thanks for coming all the way to my place.
It's a pleasure. It's lovely to be here. It's my first time actually in this part of the Midwest. Well, look, it's really great to be here, man, in your studio, in your space where this new album has been made. You know, and I know that this is a particularly intense moment for us to catch up. How was that break that you took? Necessary?
It was very necessary. A lot of the last album cycle, there's a lot of traveling and.
Well, you caught lightning in a bottle. I mean, you had to write it as you had to go. You had to go.
Yeah, the schedule was very unpredictable. You know, this is the next thing we needed to do to capitalize on the momentum. This time around, I'm looking forward to a little more structure. Like we kind of know what to expect a little bit more, which is fantastic.
And yet you find yourself, from what I've heard of this album, which is the whole thing thus far, is that you have chosen this opportunity to dive deeper.
I love stories. I love being able to dive into a story and write from that perspective. A lot of my writing is obviously very personal and something I'm working through, but there's some of it that I, like to understand the people around me and try to dissect and analyze it. And I wanted to create a world that I could to go into and write from, and in that world I was I could control the exterior and what was kind of pushing down on me, and that control was very helpful in the creative process. Where in reality I can't really control that, how people perceive it or what pressures are being applied to what types of songs should be written, what type of record should be written, and
how people feel about it.
What decisions we should make, and what shows we should play, and whether or not we should do live TV, and all the stuff that I don't particularly enjoy.
It's like you've created a world. Blurryface was a character.
Yeah.
So you had to confront that.
Mm-hmm.
How did you feel at the end of that experience? Because I think fans will want to know. They loved the way that you announced your hiatus. It's always funny how you have to announce hiatuses these days, right?
Which we never called it a hiatus, by the way. It just
that's what we do. We just pick that term up.
You guys picked that, didn't you?
We have to just be like, we got to call it something.
Yeah.
Can't call it a holiday, right? Being a musician's a holiday.
Doesn't hiatus kind of say that like Josh and I were sick of each other? Isn't that what that kind of means?
Hiatus is always the step before a split.
Yeah.
It's like an intervention.
Yeah, that's not what happened, but if that's what we're calling it, that's fine.
Yeah. So what went wrong with you guys?
Yeah. Couldn't see eye to eye on anything.
You seem to have a great relationship, and I guess that even at the end of all that touring, I mean, you tell me how it all felt at the end of the Blurryface campaign with Heathens thrown on top.
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to start creating. It's kind of like a muscle you have to work out. Well, when the Heathens things came up, I kind of took that as an exercise, like, let me just get something going. Give me a reason to write right now, because I have a lot to say, but I just can't. Everything I turn to, every progression, every sample just feels uninspired to me right now. And I was like, I'm just gonna write a song that I feel like is probably gonna be for the next record, or at least be for our fans, with my own twist on. And so that song kind of became something that I wanted to write to explain our dynamic with our fans, and thinking that it would in no way fall in line with the movie, and then it did, and then it just kind of took off from there. And so it was a good exercise to get things flowing again.
Did it? After that, did you feel inspired?
Yeah. Started writing more.
Yeah.
A lot of ideas.
Strange hit.
Yeah, no, the chorus was initially, the chorus melody was the verse melody, because I just didn't feel like it was moving around the changes like it should. And I remember I showed Josh and a couple other guys on the road when I was just demoing it on my laptop, and all I had was the verse and like just the beat and the vibe. And I was like, I gotta find a chorus. And a few minutes after I'd showed them, we're getting ready for the show, and I hear someone, I still don't know who it was. It was one of the 4 or 5 guys that I was kind of just showing stuff to. They whistled the melody of what I thought was the verse down the hall as I was getting ready. And that's when I was like, that's the chorus.
So how do we get to Trench, Tyler? How do you get How do you go from a character-based concept into something which is an entire world, which requires so much more fleshing out and so much more color, and the videos require so much more commitment and everything else?
Yeah, well, you asked earlier, like, how was it to take a break, the hiatus, and to step away for what is now, I guess, a year. Honestly, the moment our last show, which was here in Columbus, it's like our final show of the entire cycle, I went home and I started coming up with this world, and it started to consume me, is all I could think about. I know every aspect of this world. Like, I know what the weather's like in this world, and I wanted to go there and write from that place. And this studio then kind of became, in a sense, my version of it. And I really wanted to dive deeper into the narrative of who Blurryface is, not just to me, but who he's become. You know, it's always probably very true, but it seems a little cliche to say, you know, we wouldn't be here without our fans, and you know, this is about our fans, and it wouldn't be without them. But I don't think they know how much they've written the narrative, and how much of a back and forth we've been having without them really even being fully aware. This record is, I mean, they really did help write it. This thing wouldn't be breathing without them, and they helped create this world as well.
How do you absorb that influence?
How do I hear them?
Yeah, like, are they taking?
Yeah, it is the internet, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm around.
They're fleshing it out. They're taking Blurryface and they're
I'm
writing
around.
things about it, and they're adding to it and moving things around. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's just incredible. That's like creative collaboration in real time. You're so tucked away in here. I can see why you would just continue to work and create, because it's a very protected place. And I mean, it feels literally like you're 5 stories underground.
Yeah, bomb shelter.
Yeah, it does. You know, and I wonder what it's like when you pop your head up above ground for you. What life's like.
Let's talk about the popping the head out of the ground, because that's actually a phrase Josh and I have used to kind of describe like the part of our career that we just don't remember.
Yeah.
Wait, how did you guys like all of a sudden do our version of making it or getting people's attention? We see all these bands around us. I'm talking about local scene back, 8-9 years ago. We see all these other bands around us. We're trying to, should we do what they're doing? Should we kind of try to follow their lead? And we decided, you know what, let's just go underground. And we went underground and we came up with a show, and then with our head down, we just started saying yes to that show, yes to that, let's play that, let's play that, let's play that, let's do that, let's create this, head is down. And then all of a sudden we came up and we had a record deal, and we were doing a headline tour. I was like, man, how did that happen? And I realized the importance of isolation and just honing in on something and not letting, what are they doing? Or what should we follow that? Or what is that? Does that change our decision now that they did that? And just kind of diving in and going for it, and then coming up and realizing, wow, we're like 5 miles ahead of those other bands that we were just looking at.
It must be interesting finishing the record and watching people get it right or get it wrong in real time.
They are also building the world. Like I said, we're very, not to come off as like being on that stalker level, but I do watch them. And I see how, and I don't watch everyone though. I watch the ones that really get it, really understand.
So you have specific fans that you literally
I mean, it's a group of them. I guess there's just this like outer layer noise that I just consider to be not relevant. But what is that fan that really understands and has tracked with me up until this point? How is this hitting them? And the story builds from there, man.
Are you unafraid of living a different life?
I think that
You'd be amazed how many musicians are afraid of stopping.
Yeah, I think what helps me is to glorify getting old. Not be afraid of it.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And I think that if our culture were to see our elderly in that way, as like they've accomplished something, they've ran a race, and they have a lot to tell us about how we could better run it, I think that would help with a lot of things.
Have you always felt that way? Is that why you put 2 old people on the cover of Vessel?
Yeah, I've always felt that way. And actually, my grandfather, who's on that cover, he died last month, but he was a big part of my life. And I think more so now, after his passing, do I realize how much of a resource I had. And I have one grandfather who's still living, who's absolutely still an inspiration to me.
Ask the questions.
You know, he's dealt with alcoholism his whole life, and he's been sober for so many years now.
And you've never drunk, right?
No.
Yeah.
You want to ask me about my first alcoholic beverage?
100%.
It was an expired Bud Light, and I was like probably 13.
That's it.
And it was terrible.
Oh, dude.
And in a way, I think it's a blessing.
It's a blessing.
Yeah. Like,
I just
I'm
love
fine with that. I had to chase it with Gatorade. It was awful.
I'm excited, man.
Nope. Told you it's a slanted table. Why do you think I have all these gigantic mouse pads over here?
Dude, this is the most pristine and clean, amazing, like...
I gotta be honest with you.
Don't tell me you cleaned it for
Jenna dusted this before you guys came.
Have you been literally sitting in here in your pants, like in your boxer shorts, literally just stinking up the joint?
Did
you grow a beard?
Yeah.
You did grow a beard?
I did. I shaved last night.
Get out of here! You had a beard. How deep did it go?
It was terrible, man.
How committed were you?
It was so itchy, and I hated it.
Was it long?
It wasn't. It was stringy.
It was like your first real beard?
It was not like...
It would have looked terrible.
It was a shame.
You gotta culture a beard. You can't just grow one out and think that you're gonna look like Rick Rubin. That takes like decades
I know.
of planning.
There's so many more things I need to go through in my life before I can really
puberty?
get behind. Yeah, puberty's one of them.
So many things you gotta experience for the very first time.
I had a beard.
Trousers. At some point you have to put those on.
Yeah.
See how they feel.
I didn't shower for a long time. There was a moment where I hadn't looked in the mirror in like a week. You should try that. It's crazy.
Oh my God. What did you notice the first time you looked at yourself?
I felt like I was getting older.
Wow. So you noticed the change because
in a week I was like, man, maybe I was just really tired. But
that actually makes sense if you haven't noticed that thing. What were you eating? You were being fed, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, Jenna was
taking care of you.
She's a culinary artist.
Was she ever concerned? Did she ever come down and just pat you on the shoulder and just be like, you gotta get some sleep now?
Yeah, she told me like you should eat. You should hey, she's never too particular about hygiene, but she did several times like, when's the last time you took a shower? So, just those types of questions.
But if at any point you allow yourself a chance to reflect fondly on where you're at in your life, are you scared of feeling reflective or feeling satisfied?
I love creating. I need to create. When it gets to this level, there's something about convincing yourself that it's kind of not real. It's something that will go away. And preparing yourself, I know that you talk about finality being something that artists are obsessed with, but I think that you have to try to get okay with that. And the quicker you do, the more you'll enjoy this moment. And yeah, I'm not.
Do you know what ends that? Do you know what cures that?
What?
The end of narcissism. And do you know what kills narcissism? Kids.
I can't wait to have kids, man.
Yeah, man.
It's one more cycle.
It's been great hanging, man.
Hey.
Thanks for letting us in.
Thanks for coming.